You can tell, when it's time to close out games with Pyra, how skilled a player really is. This is a recent comment I got that really stuck with me, and I want to use it as a springboard to discuss this topic. Yes, it is discussion time, and I want to ramble about Pyra once again. So it's always been a meme that Aegis players are really bad at actually closing out stocks and even games. But why is that? If you guessed Pyra, you would be somewhat correct. Aegis players definitely tend to over-rely on Pyra when the opponent's percent is in the red. However, as usual, it's a bit more complicated than you may think. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't think playing Pyra by herself is really the problem. It was always about how she's being piloted and what the player is actually doing. If you switch to Pyra and only fish for certain options and nothing else, of course things will go sour for you. You're no longer playing the game at that point, you're just swinging until something hopefully hits. And that is a playstyle that is easily countered at pretty much all levels, provided you're seeing what's happening. Yes, it happens at top level too, anyone is fair game regardless of skill level. And what do people say in response? Switch off of Pyra. But that doesn't really help, does it? If you tell someone to stop doing something because it's bad without giving any direction or explanation, they'll just be confused and possibly frustrated. They won't understand why it's bad, and now you left them with nothing to go off of. There's a concept here that is just skipped, and it's not productive when it comes to learning the character. Unfortunately, if no solution is presented, people go back to whatever they did before, and there's no progress. When people tell you to switch back to mythra, it's usually because you returned to neutral. The opportunity for a Pyra kill has passed, and now you have to win neutral to get another chance. And that job is far easier with mythra, who is practically built for it. You win neutral, and get the opportunity to switch back to Pyra in a safer position. Of course, winning neutral with Pyra is doable, but it requires far more effort and patience. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I do not think majority of people have the patience necessary to pull that off. One wrong move and you're going to take a lot of percent, so you have to be incredibly conscious with your decision making and when you're swinging. Plus, it requires you to play in a completely different way that most people just aren't used to. Pyra neutral is honestly a topic for another video that I do have in the works, so I'm not going to dwell much longer on it. Point is, players who know how to play Pyra and are comfortable with her tend to do far better than the other way around. You see, people who have a lot of experience with the game, or even multiple Smash or fighting games, have something built up called fundamentals. Fundamentals is your understanding of the game and its different mechanics, states, and other nuances. Essentially a collection of basic skills that will help you with pretty much any fighting game. Concepts like spacing, footsies, anti-airing, conditioning, just to name a few. Aegis does not teach you the fundamentals of the game in an organic way. Especially if they're your starting character or you're just inexperienced with fighting games as a whole. You will, of course, learn everything in due time, but it might take longer than with other characters. Mainly because neutral is so easy to win with mythra at lower levels that you don't get a proper understanding of the concept. I swear I mean no offense by saying this, but this is why we've seen a rise of young players using Steve and winning tournaments. Steve doesn't need fundamentals, and you can thrive on pure gimmicks to win. Just look at Steve players when they try to play a different character and you'll see what I mean immediately. Aegis, on the other hand, isn't like that. I mean, yeah, you can cheese people at mid and low levels with certain things, but the higher you go, the more effort you have to put in to do well. Which is precisely why people have been looking for a different character to play. They're just not worth the time and effort compared to other high and top tiers. Turns out, Aegis requires skill to be played well. Who would have seen that one coming? Which brings me back around to Pyra, because I think a lack of fundamentals affect her more harshly. You see, I'm not like other guys. I'm not gonna tell you to stop playing her just because your matches have been falling apart. In fact, I encourage you to keep going. I want you to learn more, improve, and play her better. I wholeheartedly believe that improving your Aegis starts with Pyra. When your Pyra is good, you take stock so much earlier and a lot more frequently because you know what you're doing. You're not just swinging randomly hoping that your opponent will run into you anymore. No. Your attacks are timed and well spaced to prevent counterattacks. You're using autocastles to your advantage. You're abusing your range so people cannot punish you out of shield. You condition your opponent into picking the options you want. The list goes on. But I promise you, Pyra is really fun and rewarding when she's played properly. Anyway, that's it for now. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. And while you're here, please leave a like too, as it helps the video spread to more people. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.